going to call the meeting to order. I will. I want to see Laura Lee on her way up here. Okay, there she goes. Good evening. We're going to start our meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you. Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Here.
Stu Boyd.
Here.
Denise Chapman.
Here.
Amy Doran.
Here.
Don Kirk.
Here.
Barbara Cruz.
Here.
Alexandra Lessem.
Here.
And Nancy Rumfeld.
Here.
Thank you, Laura Lee. And Nancy, would you please lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Nancy. And Stu, would you please read the mission?
The Thompson School District will be a school district that empowers, challenges, and inspires students, faculty, staff, parents, school leaders, and community members to learn, achieve, and excel.
Thank you, Stu. The first item on our agenda for tonight is the adoption of the agenda. So that would be for today, December 18th, 2024. Are there any changes to the agenda for today, December 18th? Hearing none, I will take a motion to adopt the agenda as
So
printed.
moved.
Second.
So that was Stu and Dawn. So Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfeld.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. And the next item will be approval of the minutes. And we have 3 sets of meeting minutes to approve for tonight. The first is 3.1, which is the approval of the minutes from our last board meeting, which was November 20th, 2024. Does anyone have any changes or corrections to the minutes for November 20, 2024? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes for the November 20th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
So was that Dawn?
Dawn and
Denise and then Dawn. Thank you. And Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran. Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfeld.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. And the next is the approval of the minutes for December 4th, 2024. This was our special meeting, no, our study session down at Casby. So it would be December 4th, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes of that meeting? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes for the December 4th meeting.
So moved. Second.
So I think it was Nancy and then Dawn. Thank you. So Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran. Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfeld.
Aye.
Thank you, and it also is approved. Motion passes. The last one is the approval of the minutes for December 13th, 2024. This was our last Friday meeting, which was the one about the budget. So are there any changes or corrections to the minutes of that meeting? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes for December 13th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
So Stu and Denise. And Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfeld.
Aye.
Thank you. That also is approved. So we'll move into public participation, and we're going to begin with the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the Board of Education. I'm going to ask for Board President's indulgence to go out of sequence. We just have a lot of students here
Yeah, we
tonight,
do.
and we have finals and banquets and people that would rather not hear the superintendent report. So
No worries.
I'm wondering if we can invite Kevin Clark up to do the the
That's perfect.
athletic portion first. Are we good with that?
I am totally good with that.
Madam President, Dr. Schaefer, and members of the board, thank you so much for having me. My name is Kevin Clark. I'm the Director of Athletics and Activities. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about our connection to Strive 2025, and that's going to be some of the success our students are having outside of the classroom in their extracurriculars. Some celebrations we'd like to bring your attention to. I've not got to visit since our spring update is this summer. Many of you know we signed a MOU with the Special Olympics, and through that, we've had 2 events this fall. We've done an open drop-in kickball with our elementary students, and this past weekend at Sweetheart Lanes did a unified bowling event, and just open to anybody in the community to come and participate from that unified community. And again, just been great interest to get them plugged into to more activities. T-Mobile did the first ever Friday Night Lights, and 2 of our schools benefited in a nationwide contest. Mountain View was selected as a weekly winner and won $5,000. Loveland High School was not only a weekly winner, but went down to a small group that was in a nationwide finalist that was up for $2 million. Unfortunately, didn't win that, but benefited another $25,000 on top of the $5,000. So, yeah, those are the great things happening outside of our performances that we're about to highlight now. And at this time, if we could have the Thompson Valley volleyball program come this way. And they have their banquet getting ready to start, so we're going to let them go first. And come on up here, ladies. Lester, yeah. So each season kind of tells its own story. And I guess from an outsider's perspective, and I'll let Coach Thorne speak about this, but this right here is a dynasty. If you think of the last 4 years, these young ladies have participated in 4 state championship games in 4 years, winning 3 state titles. So coming into this season, I'm an enormous bullseye on their back here, but that's all you're going to hear from me. But Coach Thorne, if you'd give us a quick recap of your season, that would be great. Oh, even better. See, he's done that before, and he knows it's smart to give it to the captains.
Ladies and gentlemen of the school board, good evening. My name is Tatum Sharp. I'm honored to speak on behalf of our state championship volleyball team. We are deeply grateful for the invitation to attend this school board meeting and for the opportunity to share our journey and achievements with you. Winning the state championship has been an incredible experience for our team and is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and perseverance of each and every player. Your support and encouragement have played a significant role in our success, and we are truly thankful for the resources, opportunities you have provided. This championship is not just a victory for our team, but for our entire school community. It reflects the values of teamwork, commitment, and excellence that we strive to uphold. We are proud to represent our school and bring this honor home. Thank you for recognizing our accomplishments and for celebrating these milestones with us. Your continued support means the world to us, and we look forward to making you proud in the future. Thank you.
So we'd love to take a quick picture with you, if that would be okay with the board.
Come up here. And we're very proud of you girls. So.
All right, y'all ready? All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. What's that? Yeah.
Now we'll ask for Coach Kelly Christensen and the Thompson Valley boys cross-country team. Oh, my gosh. Not only is Kelly his brother, his older brother, or actually, sorry, younger brother, his brother also won a state championship this fall as well. But, yeah. Chris Christensen and the Thompson Valley Class 4A state champions, if they could make their way up here, please. We'll let Coach Christensen give a recap of his season, but last school year, these gentlemen finished third at the state meet, one spot out of bringing home a trophy. And all season long, between Cheyenne Mountain, Coronado, and Thompson Valley, we knew it was going to be an extremely close race. And Coach Christensen can talk about that day and the race, but this was truly a race that was won not until the inside the stadium, the last 100 meters, and the charge that these gentlemen have was definitely the difference between being state champions and potentially not having a trophy that day. So, Coach Christensen.
Good evening. Well, this is totally impromptu. I didn't know I was going to have to give a speech, but I am a teacher and a coach, so it's not like it's anything new. Thanks, Kevin, for calling me Kelly. I've been in the shadows of my brother Kelly down at Iowa for many years, but he is the reason I got into this position I'm in. So his inspiration and his influence caused me to take this on. He convinced me to take the Thompson Valley job 3 years ago. I've worked with a lot of these kids for 8 years. So I was a Bill Reed for a long time, and I've trained this group of boys for the last 3 years at Thompson Valley. Like Kevin said, we knew we had a big mountain to conquer. Coronado and Cheyenne Mountain were both ranked in the top 30 nationally. So we knew that we had our work cut out for us. So at the state meet, we had a game plan. We had a plan basically from the day we started back in August till up to the state meet. And we practiced that multiple times throughout the season. And they're teenagers, and you can never trust teenagers. They're going to execute a plan, and they executed it to a T. I mean, it was to perfection, and we had to because we only won by 5. So hats off to them. They did a phenomenal job, and thank you for recognizing us here tonight. It's been an epic month, being able to go through all the different parts of this celebration. And I've told people if you can take that day and just bottle it up and have it, so when you're having an off day, you can take a sip of the bottle, because it feels so good, and you just know that you get to share that with the families and the kids, and it's very special. So thank you tonight. We appreciate it, and it's a good closure on a great season. Thank you.
If you guys don't mind staying put, we'll do pictures again, but we'll get through the other teams. And so next, we're going to have the very first flag football state championship trophy ever given out, and that's going to go to the Mountain View Mountain Lions, which is made up of 7 different schools. And we'll bring up Coach Tim Tess to give a quick recap. But through one just being the first ever, but you talk about something that hasn't quit. They were recognized this past weekend by the Denver Broncos and Coach Test was recognized as the Denver Broncos Coach of the Year, where he got to meet NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, and he also was given 2 Super Bowl tickets this year. It's pretty cool. So, Coach Test, if you would talk about your season, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Happy holidays to y'all. Thank you so much for having us here today and celebrating us, and congratulations to our 3 fellow champions. It's really amazing to see Thompson just thriving in athletics. I want to really honestly thank Thompson School District and Kevin Clark and Mountain View for being so forward-thinking that they actually took a chance on flag football, which is the fastest growing sport in the country. And while we only had 64 teams compete in this inaugural season, I have no doubt that number is going to be well over 100. So I'm really, really proud that Thompson School District is the one up north that said, we're going to make it happen now. And I'm glad that we were able to reward you for your trust and your faith in us. As Kevin already said, it took 7 different schools to make our team. And that's kind of fitting because I've always said team stands for together, everyone accomplishes more. All 4 Thompson School District high schools sent players to this team, along with 3 of our neighboring schools from Longmont, Roosevelt, and Resurrection Christian. And between them, we got 21 of the greatest athletes I've ever coached, who also happen to be 21 of the most amazing people I've ever been blessed to know. We had an incredible, incredible Cinderella season. I said we won when the girls' flag football became a sanctioned sport back in April. I personally won when I became the head coach after 3 interviews with Ryan Wallstrom, which I went out and left everyone telling my wife, there's no way in the world I got this. This has been my dream. I've been coaching youth flag football since 2006. I wanted girls flag football to come to Colorado. It's here, and I somehow got that job. I was able to bring in my friend and one of the greatest football minds I know, and Coach Tank, and together we put together a team that wasn't just happy about being here. They were happy about going all the way. And mad credit to my friend and fellow coach Tank. He said from day one, state championship. We took a little bit longer to hop on board that train, but boy, we really did. And kudos to these girls, 14 straight wins, average margin of victory, 22 points. Our 14th was a forfeit, so that was only a 2-0 win. We joked that they finally found a way to keep us within 20. An incredible last game against Valor Christian, one of the top 5A schools in the state, and we barely lost 37-35. And then when the playoff weekend came, we ran into some trouble, but it showed the resiliency and the bond that these 21 strangers, now sisters, really had to make it through the second weekend. And whatever troubles we had that first weekend was gone as we won the first ever 4A state championship by a score of 26-0 against the number 1 seed in the state. So incredibly proud of all these girls. This memory is going to last me for the rest of my life, one of my absolute favorite moments in coaching. And again, just thank you to Thompson School District. We're Team Mountain View, we're Team Thompson, and we're Team Northern Colorado. Thank you.
And last, we'll talk about the Thompson Valley football team coached by head coach Jamie Still. So if you and your players could make your way up, that'd be great. And as they're coming up, and Coach Still's going to take the mic or turn it over to a captain, but on the campus at Colorado State University, they defeated Meade High School. So to have 2 Northern Colorado schools just made for a great atmosphere. And this was a program that made it to the Final Four last year, where they lost to Holy Family. And again, I'm sure that probably set the tone for this year of not only wanting to make it back to the Final Four, but to get in the state championship, and where anything can happen. And a couple of Saturdays ago, it did. So, Coach Steele.
I didn't know I was speaking, so I don't have anything prepared. We didn't fit 70 people off our roster into this room, obviously, but I think I'll speak on behalf of kind of everybody on our team and maybe some of the coaches on our staff of how grateful we are to be a part of this district. And I think it's really cool to see how many state titles we have in just a third of our sports season so far. We talked about a lot this year where we were 4 years ago as freshmen and what the football program looked like at Thompson Valley. And it was, not well known by any means to be a good team. And to be able to build that from where we were 4 years ago to winning a state title now, and to see the support we've received, from the start to where we are now, I think we're all extremely grateful for you guys and everything you've done as a district, as well as, just Thompson Valley and the staff in general. So that's all I got.
Well, thank you for having us here, Thompson School District. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to the man that believed in me, Carrie Duvall, back in the back. Thank you, Carrie. Most amazing AD I've been around, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and he's just amazing. But it's not about him, not about me, it's about these individuals over here. And I just want to say thank you so much for having us. And they're amazing young men, and we have great individuals everywhere. So thank you so much.
It's going to conclude my presentation. I know we're going to do some pictures. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Kevin? Comment? Yeah, we're just so proud of everything that's been going on. You've put such a nice program together. It was fun tonight. You know, there was just a lot of good, exciting things happening. Anybody else have comments? No?
You bet. So I guess if we could get Coach Chris Christensen and the cross-country team up here first, we'll get your pictures first with the board.
We need to squish. We need to squish a lot. Yep, squish together. There we go. Squish. Let's have you go over here, Don. Can you all slide this way for me just a little bit? Okay, there we go. Okay, ready? Right here on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thanks.
Like football? Tim?
There we go. Okay. All right, I think so. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you.
Jamie?
Thank you so much.
Let's just, hey, Amy. Yeah, actually, Barb. There you go. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. Okay. Okay, you ready? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good, thanks.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Madam President, as long as we're going out of order, we'll next go to, we have some students here from one of our amazing pre-K-8s. And so I'm going, as you know, each month we highlight and showcase one of our schools here in the Thompson School District. I'm going to invite up Executive Director of Secondary Schools, Theo Robeson, who will introduce our school for this evening.
So greetings, Madam President, Dr. Schaefer, members of the board. I'm honored to be here tonight to introduce Vivian Pankow from Peakview Academy, who will be talking you through some of the great gains they're making and strides at their school this year. And so welcome aboard.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Schaefer, members of the board. My name is Vivian Panko. I am the assistant principal at Peakview Academy, and I am so lucky to be here with some of our students from Peakview Academy. They are excited to share with you some of the things that we can highlight about our short time so far as Peakview Academy. So just a couple things before I let them talk. We started the process to open the Thompson School District's first EC8 school, so early childhood through 8th grade, and we knew that it was going to be an important place and a specific emphasis was going to be put on culture, climate, and our environment for our new combined community. Our representative leadership team of staff was started, and they started by drafting a mission and vision for us that would drive our work and give our community, our learners, our families, and staff alike a strong direction for our future. So as you can see on our slides, this is our vision at Peakview. We also call it PVA. Peakview Academy empowers, challenges, and inspires all learners to dream big. And then if you go one slide, our mission is that we will provide an inclusive learner experience every day through high expectations with an equity-oriented, future-minded approach. And our PVA learners will feel safe and supported, they will think critically, they will own their learning, and they will explore and pursue passions. So with that in mind, as we dug further into this process, our leadership team had a very powerful aha moment that led us to develop a set of guiding principles that we are excited to share with you this evening. And truly this was an aha moment, and it was so exciting in that room of this is what's going to drive us. So we created 3 guiding principles that serve as our guardrails that keep us on track towards our vision and our future as Peakview Academy at Conrad Ball. And our guiding principles support our decision making, and they give us guidance when we are looking for innovative approaches to problem solving, and they help paint a clear picture of the way that we want to do business each and every day. They also become a litmus test for us for determining if we are living out our mission and our vision and our values. And they have helped us to work through challenges associated with supporting our community and determining operational structures and systems and selecting the best resources for our goals. In the last year and a half, some of our Peakview learners, we call them LINKS learners, have taken ownership of these concepts, and we have dubbed them the PVA way. So you'll hear that if you're in our building that we talk about the PVA way. So the PVA way doesn't just apply to the adults in the building, but it applies to the kids as well. And tonight we've invited these LINKS learners to share with you how the PVA way has impacted their experiences at Peakview as a learner within our community. So I'm going to let them talk. So we're going to start with Miss Sadie Frick, who is talking about the hashtag WatchMe.
I chose WatchMe because it helps me to be successful at school. In my target instruction group with Miss Grawn, I get to show what I know, and I work on learning how to read bigger and harder words.
Thank you, Sadie. And then next we will go to Ivy Sissel, who's doing All Means All.
Hi, my name is Ivy, and I'm a 5th grader at Peakview Academy. I chose the guiding principle of All Means All to represent my school. What All Means All means to me is that everybody should have a place in our world, our community, and at our school. For example, each student's needs are met by everybody having a variety of classes to go to meet their academic levels. We've accessible equipment at our school, sign language interpreters, and inclusive sports like unified basketball with peer buddies and all-inclusive Girls on the Run. We get a chance to help lead or hang out with different grade levels, and I see kindness from all different abilities. In conclusion, I love my school, Peakview Academy, because it is a place for my 1st grade sister, me in 5th grade, and my other sister in 8th grade, and for every student and learner in the building. Thank you.
And then next we have one of our middle level learners, Fame Stewart, who will be talking about the hashtag Dream Big.
At Peakview, the guiding principle of Dream Big impacts me because I learn about new things and what I would like to be when I grow up. For example, in science, I learned about molecules in the human body. Last year, we had Career Day, and I found interest in the first responder. This is interesting to me because I'd be able to help people and make such an impact in people's lives.
And last but not least, we have Jasper Mendez, who will also be talking about Dream Big.
The guiding principles of Dream Big impacts my, my sense of belonging at PVA because of the teachers and staff. The teachers and staff have helped me with my schoolwork and my emotions throughout the year. The teachers and staff help a lot with how I grow, and they made me into the person who I am, but that's also my parents too. But they helped me out with work too, and I've been struggling a lot with emotions and work, I'm sorry. But they helped me a lot, and they made me a better person now. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, you guys, for talking about that. So we would like to leave you with a quote on the next slide that just embodies our mindset at PVA. We are not just preparing young people for the future, but we are providing a space to allow them to shape their own future. And that's very important to us. So we thank you all for having us here tonight to showcase some of our PVA way, and we hope to see you soon.
Do any of the board members have questions for them? Okay. We appreciate your taking time to share with us, all of you, the students and everybody. And I think we would like to have a picture with the people as well.
Let's see. Denise, can you pop up on the riser for me quick? Be good. Make sure I can see everybody. Okay, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, now it's time for the superintendent's report. So we're going to jump right into the slide presentation. The week leading up to Thanksgiving break was filled with excitement and holiday spirit as students and staff came together for festive celebrations and activities. For example, Miss Andre's first grade class at BF Kitchen Elementary School spread Thanksgiving cheer across social media, showcasing the students' enthusiasm and creativity. It was a heartwarming way to kick off the holiday season. November was an exciting month for TSD middle school students as they showcased their skills in 3 regional robotics tournaments. All 7 middle schools participated, with some bringing multiple teams to the competition floor. A special shout out to the Walt Clark Scorpions, who earned the Coaches Rising Stars Award, recognizing their potential to achieve great things in the future. I am excited to announce a new podcast I've created called Education Elevated, which highlights interviews with individuals from across the Thompson community. Episode 1, released on November 21st, featured a conversation with Jessica May, an instructor at Turner Middle School and the 2024 Colorado Teacher of the Year. Episode 2, which was just released this week, features Tim Test, head coach, as you met, of the Thompson School District's girls flag football state championship team, along with student athlete Mason Premer. You can find both episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Coach Test was also recently selected, as he shared, as the 2024 Denver Broncos flag football coach of the year. So congratulations to Coach Test. 2 weeks ago, our Board of Education hosted a group of TSD student leaders at the Colorado Association of School Boards Conference in Colorado Springs. The CASB conference is a great opportunity for school board members to come together to learn and share information with peers from across the state. The students were great representatives of the district, and I couldn't be more proud of the work as they completed during their visit. One final reminder that students and families who want to attend a school outside their attendance area next school year are encouraged to complete the 2025-2026 Choice and Open Enrollment application, which is closing this Friday, December 20th. Thompson School District has a variety of options available to fit the interests and goals of each student and family. To learn more, please visit tsd.org. This past weekend marked an exciting milestone with the 12th Annual District Science Fair at Walt Clark Middle School. TSD's young scientists, explorers, and inventors showcased their creativity, innovation, and hard work through an incredible array of science projects. Congratulations to all the participants for their outstanding efforts, and a big thank you to the teachers, mentors, families, and volunteers who made this event possible. A special thank you to the Thompson Valley High School Science National Honor Society for their incredible leadership and participation in helping to run the event. You inspire future scientists to reach for the stars. Tonight, you met our 4 state championship teams. Our student athletes have achieved remarkable success at the state championship level. And as Kevin Clark shared with you, we provided information on this really exciting news. I will note, and they're not in the picture, but recently our also Thompson Valley High School, which has really been on fire, their co-ed cheer team took second in the state. So this is a dynasty team. This is a team that has either finished first or second for, I want to say like last 4 or 5 years. So 9 years of just always either being first in the state or the runner-up. So we are super proud of them, and we will have them, we'll certainly honor them in January or soon. Just a few hours ago, we celebrated, a lot of celebrations today, the grand opening of The Landing, a new shelter that will address the immediate needs of unaccompanied youth throughout our community. The new facility is a collaboration with several partners, including the Thompson School District, Matthews House, Poudre School District, Thompson Education Foundation, Larimer County, and several local nonprofit organizations. Tonight's ceremony included speeches from dignitaries, a poem, refreshments, and tours of the new site. The Landing will be managed on a daily basis by the Matthews House. Finally, and maybe most importantly, next week is the beginning. Next week is the beginning of the district's winter break, extending from December 23rd through January 7th for students. And as we move into the break, I just wanted to take a moment to say how proud I am of our entire district community for all of your hard work and continued dedication. We've had an incredible school year so far, and I can't wait to see what 2025 brings. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe, well-deserved break. So finally, the last component of public participation for me, as you know, each month we honor and recognize our Top of Thompson and Community Champion winners. So for December, this month we do not have a community champion. We'll resume that again in January. But we do have our licensed and our APT. And so first we're going to start with licensed. And this is going to be, I think, a pretty exciting story. So we're going to invite Karen Hamford, who is the principal at Truscott Elementary. And and she's bringing up with her 4th grade Spanish teacher, Daniel Garcia.
Thanks so much for having us here tonight. This is a very special presentation tonight, and Senor Garcia has no idea what's going on tonight, which is a great surprise. But there are a lot of people in this room that are here to support him tonight. Senor Garcia was in the cafeteria picking up his 4th grade students from the lunchroom. Thankfully, he was glancing around the cafeteria and noticed a former student that appeared to be choking. Senor Garcia ran to him and performed the Heimlich maneuver on the student, saving his life. Once the student was physically okay, Senor Garcia was reassuring the student and supporting him through this emotional and scary time. The entire Truscott community, along with the student's family who are here tonight, and myself, are tremendously grateful for Senor Garcia's awareness and deep care for Truscott students. So I'd like Nico to stand up. Okay, and a big round for Senor Garcia. Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Always.
So, Senor Garcia, don't go too far. We'll take a picture, believe it or not, but not quite yet. We'll do that in just a moment. Next, I would like to, we have APT, which is our administrative group. Tammy Knauer nominated Kristen Batigi. And so we're going to invite both of these individuals forward.
Thank you. I think Kristen knows what's going on, but I didn't tell her the story I was going to tell. No, I don't have a story. But to recap, like the athletes did, you know, our season began, 6 years ago when I came on as bond director, and working with Kristen for the last 6 years has been amazing. So it was easy this year when I thought about nominating someone that maybe I'd try to honor Kristen this year. So I'll just read my write-up real quick. Kristen projects confidence and inclusion as she leads her expansive team in keeping our facilities healthy. From emergency issues to the day-to-day, she maintains optimism and strives to ensure the work she conducts is in the best interest of students and staff. I look forward to planning projects and budget use with Kristen as she is creative in how to achieve the most bang for our buck. She knows the district well. I value her expertise and insight while appreciating her personal touch and contagious laugh. So I was pleased to hear that she had won the award. So,
For classified, neither the presenter or presentee are here, but we'll have them come back in January. I did want to note that Bree Bell was the nominator, and Bree nominated Kim McMillan, who's a data technician for learning services. So we'll do that in January. Senor Garcia and Kristen Batigi, if you can please come forward, we'd love to take a picture with you.
It's okay. Up here. Okay, you ready? All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. All right. Okay.
Okay, are we finished with your part? Okay. We are moving now into 4.5, which is the board committee reports. And I asked the board members to share something that was beneficial for them while they were at the CASB conference, which is the conference we went to a couple weekends ago, or to just share about one of their committees. So I'm going to start with Stu.
Before my colleagues share their stories about the CASB convention, thought I would give those of you who are here and those who are watching at home kind of an overview of just what the CASB convention actually involves. Every year, the district sends the 7 of us, or the 7 board members, to the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs for a 3-day convention. So thank you, taxpayers, for funding that opportunity for us, because it's important professional development. Those of you who have been to the Broadmoor know that it's a beautiful place. Unfortunately, while we're there, we don't have time to enjoy the amenities because we're working, but it's a wonderful place to be. The first day that we're at CASB is an all-day retreat. We did this on December 4th. We covered a number of topics that we had covered previously in study sessions, or I think one of the topics was new. We went into an executive session with our attorney for part of the afternoon to talk about a couple of confidential matters. Those of you who are involved in different kinds of organizations or businesses know that when you meet for an hour or two, you can get some things done, But when you have a whole day that's devoted to a retreat, you can really dig in and have the opportunity to discuss things in detail. The following days that we're at CASB began with keynote speakers. The purpose of the keynote speakers is to inspire us as public servants and leaders, and the 3 keynote speakers were outstanding this year. The rest of the days are spent when we go down there, and they were this year as well, in sessions learning about good ideas and programs from other districts. We learn about these in small group sessions. Someone from our district often is invited to present, and that was the case again this year as well. Regarding the small group sessions, I came away from 2 sessions with ideas that I intend to suggest to my colleagues when we meet for our study session in January. The reason I wanted to do this is I want the community to know how important this professional development is for us as a school board. It gives us the only opportunity really that we have for significant professional development. So thank you to the district for sending us, to the taxpayers for funding this, and I'll turn it back to Barb and she can call on the next person.
Okay, thank you. Amy, just down and then we'll come back and around.
Thank you. Yeah, so CASB, unfortunately this year I was unable to attend the entire conference due to some family commitments, but I did go down for the all-day meeting on Wednesday, which again, as Stu alluded or stated, that we just get a lot of work done during that that time. And you know, it's very well organized flow to the day. You know, we do have some opportunities to get to know each other on a, you know, sort of a different level by, you know, Mark always has an icebreaker activity for us that's very meaningful. You know, but I just want to say that we do good work. We work together well, and I think, you know, everybody gets the chance to voice their concern, their opinion. So yeah, it was a very productive Wednesday work meeting. And my committees did, my PI committee did not meet this month, and I was unable to attend my SEAC committee, but I did want to share that on the 14th, I think Kevin alluded to it, that we held our first unified bowling event, and I went to that, and it was phenomenal, and Heidi Abramson did a wonderful job organizing that, and the turnout was incredible from our middle schoolers, high schoolers, and our athletes and the partners. It was phenomenal, and I can only hope that, you know, we have more of those to come, because it was just a fun afternoon. So that's it.
So I wanted to highlight the first CASB session that I went to after our retreat, and that was a presentation this year by Dr. Schneider and Dr. Schaefer, and you guys are going to see a version of it this evening, actually, because it was talking about a lot of our mental health initiatives, and so that's going to be covered in one of our presentations. So that's a reason to stick around for anybody who thinks they're going to leave after public comment. And it was just really nice. This was the second year in a row at CASB where we've featured something that we're doing that is unique. And as far as we know, we're doing several initiatives that are the only ones in the nation, and then we get to go share that with other school districts, both here and then this presentation that we had at the state conference was also being presented at a national conference at the same time. And so it's really great to get to share our successes with other districts and get to hear what they've got going on, because then you get to share good ideas. That's the beauty of going to these professional developments that isn't just learning by yourself, you know, and studying. And so it was really nice to get to share what we're doing and get to learn more about what other people are doing.
So I spent time immersing myself in school finance activities. I've been on the board for a year. They had Finance 101, School Funding 201. And there's just the tip of the iceberg. The complexity of how schools are funded, the complexity of our state and over 130 different school districts, very rural, urban, heart of the city type experiences, from 50 students in one district to 30,000 in our largest district. So everyone kind of brought their own challenges to discuss, and really fascinating to see how everyone pulls together and works together, and some of the innovative ways they've addressed gaps that they see at a school district level. I could do it again for the next 3 years of my time on the school board, and I still wouldn't know half of what there is to know about school finance and how that all gets done. But and I think one of our big challenges as a board is to help others understand that it's not all state dollars, it's not federal dollars. I mean, there's so many pieces of this pie that come together, and grant dollars, and we collectively as a community are a big part of how we get schools to thrive and do well and have those winning teams, both on the athletic field and then in the classroom. So as a group, we've taken on the, how do we help our community understand that when we don't pass a bond in a mill, what the kids are really missing out on, and how each of us as a community can help make our community better by investing in our young people.
Alexandra?
So some of the interesting things was, one of the interesting session I went to was about AI in education and looking at how it can be utilized both by students and by teachers and staff. And some ideas, there were representatives from a couple of different districts that are using AI pretty extensively already. And they talked about sort of some, I guess, guiding principles for how to incorporate it into this educational environment. And I think we are doing that in a lot of ways as well. But it was interesting to hear from other people. And then also after that, then when I had the opportunity to talk with some of the students who were there, both from our district and from other districts, I sort of asked them about how they are using AI in their classes and how they feel about it. And pretty much all of them are. They are using it in different ways for research. They're using it for helping. A couple of the kids talked about how they have a really hard time sort of getting started with an assignment, and they can use the AI to sort of help get them going, and then can take it from there. A couple of the teachers talked about that they can use AI to grade students' assignments or students' essays. And so then I asked the students how they felt about that being graded by a machine instead of by a person, and they didn't really have any problem with it. They said that they felt like the AI, graded fairly, gave good feedback, and they were fine with it, which I was a little bit surprised with, but they thought it was okay. So sort of some things that stuck out to me that I think relates both from the sessions I attended and from talking with others, is that AI should be used to supplement, but definitely not to replace educators, that nothing can take the place of that sort of personal, teacher-student relationship that happens, but that AI really can help that in lots of ways. And then another thing that I thought was interesting that they talked about as far as using AI and as far as sort of changing the way that lessons are formulated there's the concern about kids cheating using AI. And they talked about that in any sort of lesson, if you can Google the answer to a question, you're asking the wrong question. And so looking at it as far as teaching, finding ways to ask the questions that the kids actually have to use their brain, and they can use these tools in a way to help them do their work, but not to do their work for them. So it was interesting on a rapidly growing and changing topic. It was really good to learn some more about it and talk to a lot of people about it.
Because, I love numbers, so I subjected myself to a 4-hour workshop on the strategic budgeting workshop, and Dr. Schneider, she was sitting there with me, and we had a lot of fun going through the workshop. But the other one I also went to, everything I did really tied into how to pass a bond in MLO and how to gain the trust of the community and what are the steps you need to do to really make that happen. In the strategic budgeting workshop, it really talked about that first, the board sets annual goals, maybe only 1 to 3, that have supporting budgeting priorities, and then the superintendent implements with the staff. They should always follow SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. The budget's owned by the board, superintendent, and CFO, and that it's a year-round effort to educate all the stakeholder groups and to be in the community. And then they had a sample of a 1-page infographic that really kind of put some really key numbers on it that was really easy to read. The best idea in that workshop was, I think it was D11. They created a web page for all of their staff, and the staff would go there and they called it Stop Doing This. And so the staff would go in and they would write, stop sending 2 repair texts when you could only use 1, or something like that. And everything that was submitted was assigned to a department head who had to research it and then come back with, yes, that makes sense, we should stop doing it, and it's going to save X dollars, or this is why we need to keep doing it, but we could refine it and maybe make it a little more efficient. So I thought that was a really good idea. And then regular reporting on budget to actual for the board and the public. I think the most informative one was probably the Harmony and Diversity one with the Douglas County School Board. And Director Kirk and Director Boyd went there with me as well. And they really talked about the trust that's needed. They said one thing was to be really specific. So they actually put 9% as a raise every year in their mill levy ballot language. And then they said, do things like defend people you don't agree with the people you do agree with. Bring your skeptics inside. So make sure your committees have skeptics as well as people who, lack of a better term, are the district cheerleaders, and because that will help get more buy-in, and you'll have that skeptic really start to understand a lot of things, and then they'll probably usually become one of your strongest cheerleaders. They also mail out a 1-page, easy-to-read summary of the annual comprehensive financial report. I have no idea, Rusty, how you would put that on a 1-page, but they do it. And then they also do an annual state of the district, and they mail the invitation because they said that was where they get the best response, because a lot of seniors don't do Facebook. And then they also do booths at community events to just always have the district have a presence in the community, and again, doing more of that education of what's going on, and then put data behind everything. I guess it adds up to probably like 5 hours of all of this the whole time. I thought was just the most rewarding CASB I've gone to, that I've gotten the most out of. And to me, all of this just really helped kind of back up those survey comments that we all received from people of why they voted no. And I think the stuff that I learned here would really go a long ways towards addressing all those issues that they brought up in their comments about accountability and transparency and restoring trust. So for me, you know me, I don't quit. So I'll probably keep advocating for the Budget Finance Committee as a way to help implement a lot of these things, and I think it will really help us over the next 2 years be successful with the next bond and mill levy override. So,
thank you, Nancy. I attended some of the sessions that also dealt with the bond mill elections. I talked with a few people about that. I also attended one about cell phone use, and I was real curious about cell phone how other schools, other districts were handling it. And, because I know that we have them in place, but I'm not real sure how consistently anything is being done. So it was a session that involved, I think it was Douglas County, but then it was 2 mountain schools up that had their own policies. And it was real interesting, the range of, yes, we have a policy, but it varies teacher to teacher. Even though it's a school policy, it's hard to make sure that everybody's following that. So I was hearing kind of the same thing that we are faced with, but it was good to go to that. Committee that I went to, that the Thompson Education Foundation, we met on Tuesday night, and they just were in the process or just finishing up the process of awarding the Great Idea grants. And so there are people in the district that just got some money to help do some really good, clever things for our students. We also added 2 new members to the committee, and on Colorado Gives Day, Thompson Education Foundation was one of the ones that could have been selected. We were able to glean a little bit more money to give back to those kids or their teachers. So anybody else have anything else? All right, we will move now into 4.6, which is public comment. And I will turn it over to Dawn, who will read and then run that little flasher.
Because the board wants to hear the viewpoints of the public and also needs to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner, it will schedule time during its regular board meetings for brief comments and questions from the public. The board will set a time for public participation prior to the business portion of the meeting. The time for each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and each individual will only be recognized once. If there are a large number of speakers, the board may elect to take comments for 1 hour before the business meeting and conclude public comment after the business meeting. Public comments and questions at a regular board meeting may deal with any topics related to the board's conduct of the schools. Speakers may offer such criticism of board operations or school operations and programs as concerns them, but are encouraged to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Personnel matters will be discussed in executive session. And one thing we talked about adding was also that we don't respond back. And so a lot of people are looking for answers, but we don't do that during this portion. Once you start speaking, I will start the timer and you'll get a green light. When you have 30 seconds left, it'll move to yellow and I'll beep once at you, and then when you are done, it will continue to beep and flash red. First up, we have Tracy Taylor.
Can you hear me? I think it would be best if we start with the pictures.
We did a lot of them, didn't we?
Yeah. No, and I'm here to speak about something really hard. And I'm so glad the children are not here, because no kids should ever experience this or hear us talk about this. But I am a parent of an Irwin Middle School student, and I'm here representing Irwin parents and other parents in the Thompson School District. We want to know if our kids are even safe attending the schools. My child was not one of the poor kids that witnessed the janitor as he engaged in sex acts in the school, but my daughter did witness all the Loveland police officers in school that day as the staff redirected her and other students away from the scene. I mean, we want to know if this is being investigated. We need it to be investigated, and we want the right people to be held accountable. Why did Thompson School District ignore the janitor's cruelty to animals case back in 2005 while still employed at and working with the kids? I mean, is this janitor just another Joseph Major, a pedophile employed by the Thompson School District? Was this incident with the janitor a result of decreased cognition due to unrecognized dementia, in which someone should have acted before it progressed to this? Did Thompson School District and Irwin Middle School staff ignore the signs and possible red flags? We want to know. ignoring or accepting of the animal cruelty is a huge red flag to many of us. Us parents want to know how you guys can allow staff like this to be around our kids. Yes, the janitor was fired, and yes, the Thompson School District is full of really great staff. I've been a parent in the Thompson School District for 13 years. This one graduated a couple years ago. I mean, we've come across a lot of really great people, but there's some bad apples. And we want to know how many more dangerous staff members are being allowed around our kids. And if the current policies are going to change in light of these incidences. I mean, no matter the case, this shouldn't happen in our schools. We send our kids to school expecting them to be safe, but something is wrong. They shouldn't be around our kids. I mean, we just want to know if you guys are putting anything in place to protect our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Trudy Gessen Bainbridge. Okay, good, thank you.
As I hear all the positive things, it's really hit me. I might not want to do this, but I feel negligent if I don't. My name is Trudy Geeson Bainbridge. I live in Seven Lakes subdivision. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Maya Angelou. When I began researching code of ethics for school board members, I found the following. Avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest and refrain from using board position for personal or partisan gain. Take no private action that will compromise the Board of Administration and respect the confidentiality of information that is privileged under applicable laws. It also states no state member shall knowingly receive or accept any gift of money, including a loan, pledge, or monetary gain. I have a concern that Board Member Nancy is possibly violating these ethics, and I cite Nancy for STD cite. First, her frequent assault on Thompson School District budget. Does she devote an equal amount of time to the charter schools and their budgets? This may qualify as a conflict of interest. Secondly, Nancy can be quoted as stating her position on the e-buses grant, Nancy posting the wheels on the bus go round and round. I am most likely a no vote unless I can be convinced otherwise. Among her reasoning, she stated a concern, the EV batteries using lithium. I did some basic research and found that cell phones use lithium batteries. Is Nancy willing to give up her phone, or is she saying that we all should throw ours away? Thirdly, she encourages board audience members to wear XXXY shirts. This was a direct attack of bullying of others. I do not know, neither do I care who the others identify as. I, unlike Nancy, am not obsessed with children's body parts. It is none of my business. This should be a district that all children feel safe, not just the ones that Nancy and her clan feel worthy. I can provide research-based evidence that indicates that science supports gender variance. Finally, at the bottom of Nancy's Force STD, she states, donations much appreciated. These donations will be used for her newsletters, town halls, and website. I question, is Nancy paying herself reimbursement for this work? I don't know. Who is overseeing her budget? I see this as a violation of no monetary payment. In conclusion, Nancy uses her basic bookkeeping skills and accounting experience to look for the flaws in Thompson School District. This is an abuse of district time and resources. I've stitched up horses and steers. This does not make me a veterinarian. Neither do I see it as an expert in school finance. I'm glad to hear she attended a budget workshop. I truly hope, based on her wish list for 2025, is that she wants to bring the trust deficit and address it, because it's serious and it is out there. But we have somebody stirring the pot, and you can't speak up, I can.
Thank you. That's it. That concludes our public comment for the evening. And we will now move into the fifth part of our agenda, which is the action consent items. These are items that we had presented at us at a previous meeting or study session and involve items that do need approval. I will read the list before proceeding, and then I'll ask if anybody has an item that they'd like to have removed or adjusted. So 5.1 is the approval of personnel extra duty coaching recommendation. 5.2 is the approval of expenditures over $50,000. 5.3 is the approval of gifts and donations, which Amy will read. 5.4 is the approval of the electric bus grant. 5.5 is the approval of the New Vision Charter Renewal Review Extension. 5.6 is the approval of second reading policy of AE accountability commitment to accomplishment. 5.7 is the approval of second reading of retirement of regulation AE-R accountability commitment to accomplishment, which is really the District School Accountability Committee. And 5.8 is the approval of the District Accountability Committee, which is known as DAC. So I'm going to ask Amy to read in just a minute, but I'm going to ask first if the board or any members of the board wish to speak on any issues listed on the consent agenda, and if so, what these items are so that they can be removed to another part of our agenda.
I would like to remove item 5.4, and then I have a comment on the DAC membership, but I'll just do that in between the motion and second.
Okay, so 5.4 will be moved to discussion action, and the other items will be renumbered so that approval of the New Vision Charter will be 5.4, then it will be on down 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7. Is that right? Okay. Okay. So before we vote, Amy, would you please read the donations?
Yes. School board policy states that gifts, donations over $1,000 need to be approved by the Board of Education. We have the following gifts, donations for the amount and purpose as followed. $2,200 donation to be used for CYO scholars, camp and lunches at Ferguson High School from Jeanette DeYoung. $4,000 donation to be used for teacher support at Loveland High School from Thornton Charitable Foundation. $1,500 donation to be used for GED program students from George and Louise Thornton. $2,000 donation to be split with $1,000 to STEM general budget and $1,000 to the band program at Walt Clark Middle School from the Jessen Reindeer Ranch.
Okay. And before we vote, Nancy, what did you want to say about the DAC?
Don't we usually do the motion and the second, and then we do discussion?
If you
Or?
want to do it that way, that's fine. I just didn't know where you were going with it.
I just wanted to make the comment that I really like the changes to the DAC categories by breaking it down by what parent and child group that that Dr. Schneider has come up with. I think that will make it a lot easier to find more DAC representation instead of trying to find a parent from every single school. So I think that was just a really good improvement, and I wanted to call that out. So that was all I had.
Those kind of came from the state recommendation. Yeah, which was good. Yeah. Okay, I will take a motion to approve the action consent items with the variation of the numbering after we remove electric bus grant.
So moved.
Second.
Dawn and Stu. All right. I think we're ready for Laura to call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran. Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumpelt.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And that motion passes. And we'll move now to discussion action items, which will be 6.1, which is the approval of the electric bus grant. So I'm going to ask Nancy to speak to that first, and then we'll call Kristen. Is that okay? Okay. Or do you want Kristen to talk first? I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters.
Okay. what you're thinking.
So on the electric vehicle, the buses, I wish Todd was here, but he's answered 3 different requests of information for me. I've spent a lot of time on the internet researching this, and when I look at the costs and I look at the grants, for me, there's just too much unknown about if the grants are going to actually cover the actual cost, especially when I happened to come across this article in the Coloradan that really shows that even though the state's giving us $275 a bus, that the actual costs for the bus are probably going to be closer to $350 or higher. And it kind of the same math follows with all the infrastructure and the charging stations themselves. The only question I would ask of Christine, where is she? She's back there. Krista, is in this Colorado article I found, it sounds like Highland, I think it's Highland Fleet or Highland Electric is who we're going to be using. And the article reads like we've already have the contract or the purchase order, but I don't believe that we do. If you could just clarify that for me and give me and if you have the pricing information, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Schaefer. I'm Kristen Batigi, Director of Operations. So the item on the agenda tonight is the CDPHE grant, as you mentioned. So that's totaling $854,000. When we applied for this, we knew that that would not cover in full all of this. So there was a collaborative effort with Drive Clean Colorado and Highland Electric to apply for this federal grant through the EPA that combined multiple school districts. So I was just speaking with Highland today just to hear a little bit more about the other school districts. The minimum for that grant was 25 buses. That was not something that we were looking to do. So that's why they got together school districts who are interested in this program to fully fund those buses and chargers. So Steamboat, Summit are all working on that. So that grant was actually awarded in January of 2024, so of this year. We've been working through that subcontract process. So we have just gotten that through our attorneys, and our plan is to bring that forward in January for just the sub-award under Highland. We're not actually, they're just kind of a pass-through for that grant of the wider Colorado school districts. So the funding will be coming to Highland for us, but we're not actually getting buses through Highland, if that makes sense.
So will the funding through Highland, will that be capped at the 420?
Yes.
Okay, and that includes, but do you know what the bus prices are that is not part of that?
Right, so we will need to go back out to RFP. We did get some good numbers when we applied for these grants. I've got those here with me. So it was estimated at $311,000 or so in 2023. So we anticipate that will be increased, just over this period of time. The funding within these two grants together is still expected to cover the costs of the buses and the chargers.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate the answer. I still, though, I still am just uncertain about if we're going to have enough to cover, because any funding gap we have to cover. And I am also not certain that buying 3 buses with a range of 100 miles affected by cold, and they're seat 10 to 16, and we have to scrap 3 diesel buses that could be sold. For me, I don't see this as a good value for the taxpayers of Thompson or the state or federal. So, but thank you.
Anybody else have comments? Okay.
I do, actually. Just since we've been asking it, there were a couple kind of questions that were thrown out there, so I went and looked up the answers. It turns out the electric vehicles have been around longer than combustible engines by several hundred years, and the overall electric school buses save an estimated $100,000 over the lifetime, just in fuel and maintenance costs alone. So it looks like 2 of those major concerns have been investigated across the nation by lots of different agencies that are showing that there is quite a bit of information available on the benefits of that, and the fact that there's some grant funding to defray the costs is also a very attractive deal. So just wanted to add that.
Anybody else? Okay, I will take a motion to approve the electric bus grant as it was.
So moved.
Second.
So it was Dawn, and I think it was Alexandra. I looked the other way and I couldn't tell. Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumpelt.
No.
Okay, the motion passes 6-1. All right, discussion items. So we have 3 of those tonight. The first one is early childhood to include dual language immersion, DLI, at Cottonwood Plains Elementary School. Schneider.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Schaefer. Melissa Schneider, Assistant Superintendent of Learning Services. Tonight we bring to you an opportunity to expand on our exciting DLI programming and take it down to the early childhood level. And so with that, I'm going to have Lam Caro, our Director of Early Childhood, come to the podium and explain this exciting new opportunity.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Schaefer, members of the board. I am Lam Caro, Director of Early Childhood, and I'm happy to be here to share an update with you about our plans for the future. So our connection is really about, we want to prepare all of our students for not only in preschool, but beyond that. And so by expanding our dual language opportunity, we want to demonstrate learning in unique and meaningful ways. And it says the whole child, but also offering the opportunity to all children. So that's important to note. So on the next slide, we're going to get to it, is that we'd like to pursue the opportunity to offer an early childhood option at Cottonwood Plains Elementary School for the next school year. And the reason for that is to offer a full range of opportunities for all of our students. We would like to grow the dual language and early childhood programs, as well as enhance learning opportunities for our youngest learners. So at this juncture, our next steps are we want to start promoting this option to our community. We need to hire qualified staff to do that. And also, we'll let those staff provide the appropriate learning, professional learning to implement the program. So here to answer questions that you might have about what we're doing.
Questions? Okay, we'll start over this way.
So in terms of, is this a classroom or multiple classrooms?
We're going to start with a classroom, and then depending on what the response is from the community, we might add to it.
Okay. Andrew?
What's your sense as far as how, like, I know currently the elementary kids do sort of half and half in English and Spanish, and depending on what the topics are. And I imagine that, early childhood is a little bit different as far as they don't go to, math and then English and then whatever. So what's your sense of how that will look?
So some preliminary conversation is talking about what would they receive in English and in Spanish. So in all honesty, there's some details that we still need to work out specifically. And so we want to make sure that it aligns with what's happening at the rest of the elementary school. Yes, correct.
I think this is a really great idea and a positive improvement. My question would be around, I know that we've had issues in the past with finding the qualified instructors. So how will you deal with that for the preschool? Will it be able to be the same instructor that's already at Cottonwood, or will you have to try to find another person that we can get the visa and not have,
Well, we would have to recruit another instructor. My assumption is I'd be working with Bill, Dr. Siebers, and with Sarah, and then the two principals at the two schools that are the dual language class buildings already. And hopefully we would have different venues to explore to try and find that staff member.
Does it being preschool, does that make it easier or harder to find someone?
Well, I would venture to say it could be a challenge, but I'm always I think positively, and I think we could find someone for it.
Okay. All right. Again, I think it's a really good idea. And good luck, and Bill, help him find someone.
Lamb, is this being offered as a pilot, or is this just an idea that you're floating to see about its popularity or its need in the community? Is it actually a pilot?
It's not, I wouldn't call it necessarily a pilot. I would say that we're actually pursuing this opportunity to start building the pre-K to 5 spectrum with the dual language program. So when I said pursue, we're actually trying to make this program go for the upcoming school year.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something too?
No.
So in our conversations, we were really talking about what does it look like to have a true EC12 system? And so this is a part of that work. And so being able to provide that opportunity for our students, we're not going about this as a pilot. We really are putting our efforts into this so that we can provide those opportunities for our youngest learners as well.
All right, and then I have one other question as well. I believe that Truscott is the other dual immersion school. Is the thought that if it's successful at Cottonwood Plains, that Truscott would adopt it as well? Is that left to the discretion of the administration at Truscott? Who would make a decision as to whether another school might be interested in participating in this as well?
Yeah. So we looked at an option that was at Truscott initially, and it really comes down to facilities. Where do we have the space to open another classroom? And I'll invite Karen up if there's anything to add, but at this point in time, there's not the space to open another classroom in Truscott. So that was the limitation for us.
So if it's successful, it would stay at Cottonwood Plains,
Yes.
and that would be the only site?
At this time, correct.
Right.
Yep.
And students then would have the opportunity to opt into, I'm familiar with the choicing for K through 12. I'm not quite sure how choicing would work at the preschool or early childhood level. So if you could kind of address that.
Sure. So we have two things. We would honor choice, but we also have the responsibility of serving different students in the program. So depending on the needs of the community and what happens with the enrollment, there's a potential that we could open 2 classrooms if it was necessary for that site.
Have you established a minimum number of students who are interested in order to offer the program?
The maximum we can have in any classroom is 16. So we could offer up to 4 sessions of 16 if that was the case.
All right, and is there a minimum where you would say, no, there doesn't appear to be community interest in doing this?
We'd have to at least have 10 to 12 students to start
Okay.
with. Yep.
All right, and this would be for the 25-26 school year?
Yes, correct.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Are there any other EC12 that are doing dual language that you know of? Or would
I'm
we
not
be-
familiar with that. Are you?
So right now in Poudre School District, there's a charter school
Okay.
that is doing dual language EC12.
Okay. Thank you.
All I say is go for it.
I would just say, I mean, I imagine this is being done, but from what we've heard previously about sort of the trajectory of the EC12 thing and having families involved, I would want to encourage you to make sure that some parents and families of these young children are involved in the planning of this program.
Aware of the fact,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
just early childhood. Yeah.
Just one thing quickly. I don't want you to interpret my questions as indicating that I'm not in favor of this. I just had a number of questions about where you were in the planning process.
Sure.
Okay. Very much.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah. Something to look forward to. All right. 7.2 is the preliminary 2023-2024 annual comprehensive rest of this financial report, the ACFR update. Hi, Rusty.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Schaefer. I am here to provide an update on the ACFR. It aligns with Strive 2025 items 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3. And first question is, why issue an ACFR? An ACFR is a detailed financial report that really tells the story behind the numbers, and we issue the ACFR because it's a requirement, it's a CDE requirement, that we submit an ACFR annually to CDE and the State Auditor's Office. Excuse me. And we're required to submit that by December 31st. I put together a timeline. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we started back in the spring. We issued an RFP because we were no longer under contract with our prior auditors, Hinkle & Company. And so we issued an RFP and got several proposals, and we selected Plant Moran. The board approved the appointment of Plant Moran on May 15th. And then they started field work in July, August, September on site. And we've been providing all kinds of documents to them since then. And we submitted a draft ACFR to them on November 15th. And Todd Piccone presented the draft ACFR to the board on December the 4th. And we just got the final documents from the auditors this afternoon. And so that allowed me to complete the document, number the pages, update the table of contents, and I returned the document to them about 5:15 this evening. And so they're going to do one more final review and hopefully send it back to us tomorrow so that we can issue it before we leave for break. That's the goal.
Wow.
Most important thing to talk about as far as the outcome of the audit is they are issuing an unmodified opinion. But saying that, they did identify several material weaknesses, and those weaknesses are related to primarily insufficient internal controls and segregation of duties, lack of proper documentation and approval of grant expenditures, and then we did miss some grant reporting deadlines. The partner on our audit and one of the other managers will be here in January to explain the audit process in more detail and to review their findings with the board. Some of the things we've done as a result of their findings include we've got one grant accountant. We've tried for the past 2 or 3 years to hire additional grant accountants, but we found it very difficult to find qualified accountants who have experience working with grants. And so we posted the position again a couple weeks ago. It closed, I believe, Sunday, and so we reviewed some applicants this morning. In fact, Dr. Siebers and I reviewed some applicants, and we selected 2 that we want to interview when we come back from break. And then we're also going to post another grant position, a classified position, when we return from break. Another thing that's pretty important is early childhood is also looking to hire a grant specialist to assist with the Head Start program. And that's important because Head Start's probably our 3rd largest grant in terms of dollars, but is the largest grant in terms of time commitment. Our one grant accountant probably spends 35% of her time on that Head Start grant. And that's largely due to the fact that Head Start's requirements are the most stringent of the federal grants. We're also working on a formal review process for all expenditures that are charged to grants. And as soon as we have new staff in place, we're going to bring Plant Moran in to spend some time with us to help us better define our processes and procedures. Any questions?
All right, let's check. Dr. Schaefer.
Before we launch into questions, first I want to acknowledge the work of Rusty Williams and team. So Rusty literally jumped into a deep pool with lots of moving pieces. And so, so appreciative of the work that you're doing right now, your responsiveness, all of that. So thank you. As the board recollects, back in April, we hired a new audit company, and they did a very thorough and very comprehensive audit of everything, which they should. And we are appreciative, and they're still actually probably working on it now as the paperwork goes going back and forth. What it has done, as Rusty has shared with you, that it has illuminated some opportunities. Not having an unmodified opinion is obviously the goal of any district, so that is a good thing. And we know we do have some opportunities, and so. Under Rusty's current leadership in his interim role, we'll be working closely with the auditors, Plant Moran. They, as he indicated, will be with us in January at your study session, which is on January 8th. And then we're also, I don't know if you mentioned, we're going to have our Audit Advisory Committee, which is our group, meet after January 8th, but before January 22nd, which is your next board meeting, to just be able to provide information to that committee as well, which we started like 7 or 8 years ago. So really, I just want to thank Rusty publicly for just doing a great job so far.
We all appreciate the fact that you
Thank you.
stepped in and helped us out. Okay. Questions? Denise? Alexandra? Nancy?
I don't know that I really have a question. What I would like to do is, when I sent my email to you last night, asking questions about the material weakness of internal controls and segregation. So as accountant, when I read that, it was like, ah. But what I really appreciated and loved was your response to me. It was so direct and honest and just filled with, yep, here's what the situation is, aware of it, and you're already, so I just think you're off to a great start. I really appreciate, and I just know you're gonna do great in this position. And I would know that even though Plant Moran costs more, I think just in the this first go-around, I think they've already proven their value to the district.
I agree.
By highlighting these things, because sometimes it takes an auditor's report to kind of give the finance department that level of authority or backing to make some of those changes needed that are really, really necessary to make any organization successful. And on the grant stuff, that also has me a little concerned, but it sounds like, you're really trying to, find the right people, because again, especially with that electric vehicle grant, there's some really strong deadlines, reporting requirements, and if we miss them, so I just think you're going to do great. I can't wait to read the report. I know I'm a weirdo, but I just think your answer, I just loved your email, and I just know you're going to be great, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just quickly, Rusty, the third bullet on the next to the last slide said Plant Moran staff will be here in January to explain the audit process and review their findings with the board. So I'm assuming that what you're doing tonight is just forecasting what's coming down the pike. You don't need anything from us tonight. You don't expect questions. You perhaps couldn't answer questions yet anyway. And so we'll have the opportunity in January then to ask them questions. Dr. Schaefer, will the audit committee meet prior to
Didn't you say in between
the
the
next
two?
staff, the next board meeting, or will they meet after?
So they'll meet after the working session, but
Okay.
before the business meeting.
Between the two January meetings?
That's
then?
correct.
All right, thank you.
Don, anything?
We pretty much covered it. I just want to say that it's nice to have a new set of eyes, right? Like, no matter what, it's always good because you start getting comfortable and you miss things just because
Yes.
they're right in front of you. And so I appreciate that we made that change, and there is some findings just from that alone, let alone the fact that this is what they do, that they tend to kind of kick all of the rocks to see what's underneath.
They're kicking the rocks.
And I appreciate that, right? It sounds as if like there are some things that are really good for us to do, good advice. And so I'm excited to kind of hear what the suggestions are. And I'm glad that there's several groups that are getting a chance to look at this through January so that we can be thoughtful about what we do about the findings, because that's the most important part.
Yes.
Okay, turn around and look. What did I tell you at the start of the meeting?
This is a much easier crowd to speak in front of, I will say that.
He was, at the very start, I went up to him and I said, "Are you a little scared?" And he said, "Yeah," and I said, "Oh, by the time the meeting, you're up." He said, "There'll be 4 or 5 people here, and that's it." So
I would much rather be working in my office on an Excel
I know,
spreadsheet.
I know,
than
but thank you
standing
so
before you.
much for
You're
hanging in
welcome.
there. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right. Thanks, Rusty. All right. Youth mental health update. Dr. Schneider? Okay.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Schaefer. As you heard earlier tonight, someone mentioned that we presented about youth mental health at the CASB conference this past week, and so you're going to get a kind of a tidbit of that here tonight. But there are a lot of celebrations in this area in our district. Since 2022, Dr. Jennifer Guthels has really spearheaded the work of collaborating with other districts and county and community members to offer some more resources and pathways for our youth in the community. So I am going to let her take this away.
Thank you, Dr. Schneider. Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Schaefer, members of the board. All right. So our Strive 2025 connection, the focus area 2, inclusive and supportive culture, as we've spoken about many times, addressing youth mental health will help us achieve our goals to eliminate disparities in behavioral outcomes and educational opportunities that may exist in our system. In addition to that, improving mental health improves students' sense of belonging, and as we know, research shows that improved sense of belonging significantly reduces safety concerns in schools and improves achievement outcomes. So as Dr. Schneider said, I have some celebrations to share with you about ongoing aspects of this work and some new projects that are on the horizon that I wanted to celebrate with you. Going to cover, looks like 6 celebrations is what I wanted to share with you tonight. And so I'll just go into a little bit of detail on each one of these things and then open up for questions at the end. So first of all, our tri-district collaboration. This is a product of our Larimer County Youth Mental Health Task Force. The 3 school districts in Larimer County wanted to come together to see if we could improve our collaboration as well as produce information that could essentially asset map what behavioral and mental health services and supports are available in our schools. This was a request in part also from the community partners who are a member of the Youth Mental Health Task Force, because one of the goals of that task force is to reduce the kind of fog that is between all of our organizations and understanding what we do, what we can do, where our gaps are, where our needs are, so on and so forth. And so our community members asked, could you make it clearer to us what is happening in our schools? And then as we looked at each other across the 3 school districts, we realized that would actually be helpful for us too, because even though we're all public schools in Larimer County, there's a lot that we don't know about each other. And so we asked some of our fabulous community partners to facilitate this so that the school districts could fully participate. And they then put together a report and some recommendations. This is still, the full report is still in draft form, so that is not available at this time, but they did give us some highlighted recommendations, which I've shared for you here. The first being support and expand, Laura Lee, peer support, promoting positive youth development and pro-social relationships, enhance access to comprehensive wraparound services, increase resources supporting a comprehensive school behavioral health care system, and improve and expand collaboration across the 3 school districts. I wanted to just mention that we do have an SBHC in Thompson School District located right near Peakview. So I wanted to mention that both Poudre School District and Thompson School District do have an SBHC. However, we discovered some very interesting things about whether or not people are accessing those resources in our school districts. So that's a little bit more about item number 3. The other thing that's been going on is that as our Youth Mental Health Task Force has met, we want to make sure that it's sustainable, meaningful, and relevant. And so we had a meeting with our steering team and then brought these questions to our members. And all of us are in agreement that we would like to streamline this team to about 15 to 18 representatives, still making sure that it represents all these different perspectives that we have had before. So everything from making sure we have folks representing our school districts, private providers, folks like the county, parents and guardians, youth, that all those different perspectives that are so important, but to streamline that to about 15 to 18 representatives and focus the work on sustaining the relationships between all these partners, keeping those partnerships going. Obviously, we all can get very busy, and we don't want these to no longer be a priority. And then to continue to exchange knowledge about all these different organizations that support youth. We also would like to commit to having a regular youth mental health summit that is youth-led, and this group would support that effort. I would like to just say that all members of this task force, we did a survey where we asked if people were still willing to serve, and they all said yes. So they really want to keep this going. So really, it's been quite an honor to work with these folks. They are so committed to the youth of our community. So this is an aspect of the work of my team that you may not be as familiar with, but I head up our psychological response team, and that is the team that responds to the social, emotional, psychological aspect of crisis and loss that might unfortunately happen in our schools. And so we spent last year, many hours last year, reviewing all of our materials, all of our processes for that, and making sure that they were current, up to date, evidence-based, easy to read, easy to access. And one of the things we identified was that we needed training modules. And so we've developed training modules for principals, school mental health, members of the response team, leads on the team, those sorts of things. And those updates went into effect in August of 2024. And I'm very pleased to say that though it's unfortunate that we have had to deploy this team several times this semester, I think that in the debriefs that we've had, the schools have reported very positive responses to how we've been able to respond due to these updated changes. And I would just like to recognize that we have members of our school district, our school social workers, school counselors, our mental health coordinator, and others. Sammy Birchfield, one of our admin assistants, who spent many hours helping with this update, and they are fully committed to this essentially kind of volunteer aspect of their work. I'm very, very proud of them. We have a really cool kind of newish position this year that Patty Verdon helped me come up with and make sure that we got in place this year. So we had a grant-funded position to do a little bit of this work, and the grant ended. We're trying to figure out what to do because we really felt that there was a need, and figured out a way using existing FTE to create a half-time counseling position to support students in TOL and SOARS. Now, technically, their school counselor at their brick and mortar is their regular school counselor. So this is additional support. The school counselor support doesn't go away, but this is for students who are currently in TOL or SOARS, or they're transitioning from TOL or SOARS back into their brick and mortar school, and may be involved with, say, very complex court involvement or have acute mental health needs. And this this has been absolutely remarkable. The person in this position, Kristen Earle, was the school counselor at Ferguson High School for many years. So she has a special place in her heart for ensuring that all kids succeed, and she has gone absolutely above and beyond to connect with these kids, connect with all of these new people at TOL, SOARS, and a whole bunch of community partners to ensure that the success for these students improves. We really want these outcomes to be positive, and we're very proud of her work. So this is an amazing program that we're in year 2 of that is grant funded, the School Health Professional Grant. So we call this team, you can see how wonderful they are in this very cute picture taken at Mountain View High School during one of our parent nights. These are our behavioral health interventionists. And these folks provide behavioral health intervention at all of our middle schools and K-8s. And we wanted to share some very exciting data outcomes with you. We've been tracking the data very closely, of course, because we do that anyway, but also because it's grant funded, and so we do have to report outcomes. And one of the pieces of data that we were able to share at the national conference that was referred to earlier, the National Conference on Advancing School Mental Health, was that this very small team that you see in front of you here, when we look back over last year and this first semester, they have actually been able to support over 10% of our middle school students getting the support that they need right during the school day with their parents' consent with no cost to families. It's a pretty incredible thing. Nobody has to deal with transportation or find funding or deal with insurance. They just get what they need right away. And then one other piece of data that we are very excited about from our behavioral health interventions is the next slide. Which, as part of the grant proposal, we set up our progress monitoring and outcome data. This is a short survey where we developed indicators for questions for these indicators you see in front of you. Students take them at the beginning of the cycle, midway through, and at the end. The cycles are around 6 to 8 weeks. There's individual group sessions that they can cycle through and small group sessions that they can cycle through as well. And so 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the higher number. And I would just say for any of you involved in collecting data and research, you don't see numbers like this very often. You'll see highlighted that the improvement in students' healthy coping strategies especially is outstanding. But we're very pleased to see that all of the areas that we are targeting with this work have improved. Now, one of the things we regret is that we did not create an indicator for sense of belonging because we have seen other data that shows that that is also improving because of the group aspects of this work. And then we are looking to expand the work of this team as they've gotten some, it's very complicated to implement something like this. So as they've figured out all of the details, we have a little bit more time to provide support. So we're expanding our parent guardian education, partnering with our suicide prevention specialists to improve our work around our signs of suicide tier 1 prevention education. We are looking to support 5th graders coming into 6th graders, and then 8th graders who come into the program right at the end. We are looking to support them as they transition to 9th grade, make sure that they feel stable there and then back out. And then the last celebration I want to share with you is why I brought my phone up, because this is so new that I'm still getting information in from our partners. I have some notes on my phone that I just received from them today. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the North Colorado Health Alliance. The North Colorado Health Alliance employs 72 people through 11 different grants across 3 counties, one of which is ours. And so in partnership with them, and this is a partnership that came out of our mental health task force, I brought up a number of times my concern about the lack of care coordination for the students of Thompson School District. Care coordination, I actually had a great definition from our partner that I wanted to read to you. And so what they say is they can support people in navigating through health needs and assist with navigating healthcare, insurance, mental health and substance use needs, community resources and barriers to being able to achieve the goals that have been set. And so what they have offered to do for us is provide 2 full-time care coordinators who will be available to any parent or guardian in Thompson School District. They would be able to do this through the school or on their own. So for instance, if a family was meeting with a school counselor and brought up that they could really use some support in, say, family therapy, but they don't know how to get to it, the counselor can say, well, would you like me to reach out to our care coordinator? Care coordinator can get in their car and drive over and join the meeting and help the parent with whatever they're looking for. So this is something that we've been working on for years, and for years I've really just been hoping somebody would answer the phone. So this is a bit above and beyond what I thought we would ever get for our families and our students. And we are just absolutely thrilled. There's no cost to Thompson School District. This is all grant funded. And these people are already doing this work in the area. We're just going to be able to focus them on the families at Thompson School District. This is still in progress, literally going back and forth on the MOU, then of course, move it through our very complex MOU approval process. So we're hoping that moves quickly so we can get the support to our families, but still a lot of details to figure out. However, I just was very excited to be able to share this news with folks. So stay tuned on that. Do you have any questions about the update from tonight?
Start down. Questions?
I do. I have 4 questions, Dr. Guffels, and I think you can probably answer all 4 of them in a total of about 12 words. You used an acronym FBHC. I don't know what that is.
So I was referring to the, on an earlier slide, it said school-based health care, so SBHC.
SBHC. I thought you said FBHC.
Yeah, so that's the facility that's near
Sunrise.
Peakview.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. One of the slides talked about new training modules that have been created. Have they been used yet? They've been
Yeah.
created and they've been used.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have been.
The TOSA for Thompson Online, is that a permanent position or is that just being investigated at this point? What's the status of that?
As of right now, I mean, not all positions are ever fully permanent, but as of right now, yes, it is planned to be ongoing.
And my last question is, the pre-post survey that the slide addressed, is that taken by students?
Yes, yeah, so they take it before they start the intervention, at the midpoint to allow for progress monitoring, and at the end for outcome data.
Then that certainly does make the progress on those various areas look remarkable. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I had submitted Monday morning at 10 a.m. a list of 11 questions. I had asked if I could have it so I could review it before the meeting. I don't have anything.
I did submit the answers to those questions.
We do have those. You will have them tonight.
Oh,
Do apologize.
okay. Okay. It's hard for me to do any follow-up with you because I don't have the answers, but I can do it. I can contact you later if I have any additional.
Yeah, and I was able to answer the questions, so please let me know if any remain.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have 2 questions. One is, sorry, let me go back to it. The psychological response teams, is that what it's called? Are those the PRTs? Is that are those like specific people in each school that are trained to respond to incidents, or is there a group that like moves around? Or tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So folks can apply to be on the team, and we are always looking for a mix of folks who work directly in the schools and folks who work, say, out of learning services. And they go through an application process, and then they go through one of our new training modules now. And then that becomes the list from when I need to deploy a team to provide support. I look at who's available, and we go through a process to select a team that moves into support.
Okay, and so they could go, you say, I need a team at Lucille Irwin, and you collect, and a group of people go
That's right.
there, or vice versa. So they may or may not actually be at that school?
They would definitely not work at the school
Okay.
that's having the crisis or need, because they're providing additional support to the leadership and school mental health staff that already work there.
Okay, okay. And then my second question is about how do the kids in the behavioral health interventionists, how are the kids that are involved in that, how does that happen?
The referral process, is that what you're asking about? So the referrals come through the school counselors. So a teacher could reach out to a counselor and ask that they be considered a principal, the counselor themselves, a parent or guardian, and then the school counselor moves that to the team, they review it, and then they reach out to the parent or guardian for consent.
Okay. And so essentially, it's just kids that are considered to maybe need a little bit of extra help or extra support?
Yeah, mental health intervention.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, I think we are reaching the end of the meeting. I don't think there are any written reports that are attached. So, request for information, anything other than we will meet again January 8th, Bill Reed Middle School? No? Bill Reed Middle School is where we go. And otherwise, I will adjourn the meeting. And everybody have a wonderful holiday break. We all need it.